Okay, let me stop. There we go.
So, as you've probably come to expect from me, I go off in about 16 different directions. Nobody else seems to make the turns. I'll leap three or four things, forget to make the connections. This is addresses that overcoming our natural tendency. So it's the natural tendency of our mind to worry about the future. It's going to continue to do that. The purpose of meditation is to begin to stand outside the mind as it's doing what it's doing and be able to make a choice and do something different. That's what we mean by stepping outside of the conditioned mind. So, what can we do instead? And so, I've suggested to those of you who work with me that you could wake up in the morning and instead of thinking about all the things that are going to go on, you could think of 5 things that you're grateful for. And then you could think of 5 things that you really appreciate. You can think of life was numinous and you felt the sacred in your presence. Well, Robert Bly had some different things. He's got a poem called Things to Think. Think in ways you've never thought before. If the phone rings, think of it as carrying a message larger than anything you've ever heard, vaster than 100 lines of Yeats. Think that someone may bring a bear to your door, may be wounded and deranged. Or think that a moose has risen out of the lake and he's carrying on his antlers a child of your own whom you've never seen. When someone knocks on the door, think that he's about to give you something large, tell you you're forgiven, or that it's not necessary to work all the time, or that it's been decided that if you lie down, no one will die. Yeah, how about that instead? So that is definitely overcoming uh, solutions that our monkey mind comes up with. So I pass it on. I just find that delightful. So today, I keep focusing on this large mind, the mind that appears behind the thoughts, behind the physical sensations, behind the emotions, that is our true nature. Um, that's the place where we begin to access this. And I came across this from Pema. And again, it's recognizing I'm thinking and then let go. Let go into what? When you meditate, every time you realize that you're thinking and you let your thoughts go, that openness is available. Chogyam Trungpa calls it freedom from the fixed mind. Every time the breath goes out into space, that openness is available. And immediacy experience. You could look at the floor or the ceiling or just feel your bottom sitting on the chair. You can just be here instead of being not here. Instead of being caught up, absorbed in thinking, planning, worrying, caught up in the cocoon where you're cut off from your sense perceptions, cut off from the sights and the sounds, cut off from the power, the magic of the moment. Instead of that, you could choose to pause. At all, just stop now and then. Punctuate your life with these moments. The crucial point is that we can relate with our life just as it is right now, not later when things improve. We can always connect with the openness of our minds. We can use our days to wake up rather than going back to sleep. Give this approach a try. Make a commitment to pause throughout the day and do that whenever you can, allowing time for your perception to shift, allowing time to experience the natural energy of life as it's manifesting right now. this can bring dramatic changes in your personal life. And if you're worried about the state of the world, this is a good way you can use every moment to help shift the global climate of aggression towards peace. And you all hear me say, well, what am I going to do about this? This is the reason why I love the way she states that to help shift. There's your bug, honey.
Oh, yeah.
It's climbing on her coffee now. If you're worried about the state of the world, you can help shift the global climate of aggression towards peace.
Okay, buddy.
So, we're cultivating here a capacity to open. Whatever you feel your mind. When you're worrying, when the monkey mind has got you, this open space to breathe is available. This space to let go of all the hooks that the world has into you, and that may be the invitation that Robert Bly says, to just lie down and nobody's going to die, even though I feel like I have to do this. It's so urgent. Getting to the grocery store is a pressure situation. Oh my God, I have to do this. And just feel the intensity of the everyday as opposed to landing in the energies. So our meditation today is going to be on using your senses, feeling these sensations in your body. Again, opening us up to that possibility that when you anchor in your sensations in your body, then happens is we open. So this is a very fundamental meditation to learn. So we're glad we have a good teacher.
Ready?
Ready?
I'm shifting.
I'm shifting.
All righty.
Morning, Rachel. Is she on yet?
I think so, yeah. Righty. So, see if we can pull up this said meditation. It's called naming sensations as they arise. And just remember, we'll practice the full 20 minutes. So, I think I'm ready.
Over the last few sessions, we've explored bringing mindfulness to the sensations in our body and how this allows us to respond to ourselves and others in a more present, clear, empathetic way. A powerful tool for strengthening this awareness of body sensations is noting or naming the particular sensations we're feeling. And not only can naming them focus your attention, it actually helps you witness what's going on inside you with more balance and equanimity. In an important piece of research conducted at UCLA, MRI scans revealed that the activity of mental noting activates the prefrontal cortex, that's the site associated with executive functioning, and it reduces activity in the limbic system, which deals with emotions. So the implication is that if you're having intense, unpleasant sensations, naming them to experience. A helpful way to begin awakening mindfulness is by asking the following question. What is happening inside me right now? As you ask, notice what you're experiencing in your body. what is happening inside me right now? Let the inquiry engage your interest and curiosity. And notice how posing this simple question can immediately direct your attention inward. Now, follow up that with a second question. Can I be with this? You might notice this second question invites some spaciousness. Can I be with this? You can use these two questions. What is happening inside me right now? And can I be with this anytime you want to connect more fully with the life within you? Now, once you've arrived in some awareness of body sensations, you're ready for the tool of naming or noting. As you attend to the various sensations that are arising, you make a mental whisper, using a word to describe what you're aware of. And after you've named an experience, say sensations of heat, or tightness, or tingling, simply allow them to be as they are and continue to notice with a clear attention what naturally happens. Then if a different sensation draws your attention, you can name that and allow it to unfold. When we witness experience like this, simply noticing but not interfering, we begin to see reality in a fresh way. Things are changing. Now you might be thinking, yeah, well, this is something everyone knows. But when this recognition arises as a deep experiential knowing, as an insight, it can profoundly affect your life. Everything we notice inside us, breath, thoughts, feelings of anger, of pleasure, it's moving. Nothing's holding still. The leaves in the breeze, the birds, the seasons, the planets. So when we really register this, that perspective can invite us to relax our resistance, ever-changing flow. One meditation teacher describes the beauty of a glass he regularly drinks from. Then he says, I love this glass, yet for me the glass is already broken. When I understand this, every minute with it is precious. As we open to the river of sensations, as we remember that this too will pass, we're able to live our moments and lives with more grace and appreciation. So let's explore this together, this ever-changing flow of sensation. Position. And as you become still, take a few moments to collect your attention with the breath or your chosen body anchor. Relax and rest in the breath or body sensations. Just bringing a calm, clear attention to your moment-to-moment experience. Now that you've settled a bit with your home base, widen the field of attention, bringing the same quality of care and presence to notice whatever sensations are arising. You're exploring the amazing river of sensations as a mindful witness, as certain bring us to them, feeling them fully, and see if there's a word that describes your experience. Maybe tightness, or ache, heat, pressure. There's no need to strain to run through a mental thesaurus to find the right word. Just notice what word arises in awareness and mentally repeat it to yourself in a soft tone. Let the naming be soft in the background so that 5% of your attention is doing the noting and 95% is on the actual experience. As you name the sensations that are predominant, allow them to be just as they are and keep paying attention to the felt experience that's unfolding in the present moment. You might note the same if they get more intense or move or disappear. If a certain cluster of sensations continue to draw your attention, again, sense what word best describes them and offer a mental note of what you're experiencing. Continue in this way, bearing witness to the changing flow of sensations moving through you, feeling them fully, naming what's predominant, and letting them be. Keep in mind that this mental noting, it's an optional tool, something to experiment with. Mind. If noting adds clarity, great. And if it seems to create tension or somehow get in the way, feel free to drop it. The point's not to stop the river of sensations, but to know them with awareness. Right this moment, you might ask, what is happening inside me right now? And can I be with this? Feeling the flow of sensations, subtle or strong, letting life be just as it is. Now return to your home base, the breath or your body anchor. Calm, steady attention, resting with the inflow, the outflow of the breath, or resting in your anchor. If during this last minute or so a strong sensation calls your attention, then you let your primary anchor recede and you bring a full attention again to what's arising, naming it, offering your presence. And if nothing strong is calling your attention, continue to rest with your home base, relaxed and alert. Sensing the breath in the foreground, still aware of the field of sensations in the background. You're learning to be centered, balanced, and present for breath and the living world of sensation. As you move through the day, when you remember, you might periodically pause and ask, what is happening inside me right now? And if you notice that strong sensations are arising, experiment with a light mental naming of what you're noticing.
before we open it up for discussion, I want to thank you, Rachel, for hooking me up with Robert. We are in the process of doing some things. Francis is going to be looking for spaces for us. So if you could help me with, Robert's got a list that he used for the Bay St. Louis retreat. If you have any lists at all that you know of that you could get centralized, I'd appreciate it, okay? But thank you for everything you've done. And also, Robert snuck in with Talbot. So, Robert, good to have you with us. So, let me just set a context for the newcomers. If you're new to your meditation, ignore a lot of what was said today. So, you want to keep your primary focus, as she said, in early meditation, breath. I heard her say that. So what that means is, and you can practice this during your day, as you go through your day, are you aware of the fact that you're breathing? If you have that level of awareness, you're already in witness consciousness. You're not totally absorbed. There's a part of me that's anchored outside my experience. Now you can begin to layer on other things. So what she's suggesting here is that we add on another layer of awareness, which in our bodies. We had a wonderful conversation with my anesthesiologist yesterday, who was from India, and he's also a Vipassana practitioner, Jack meditator, and studied in India. And that's the tradition that Jack Kornfield and Goldstein and
Sharon Salzberg.
Sharon Salzberg and all those people come from, just so you know a name for their tradition. And we talked about how little Westerners have an awareness of this internal world that we carry, which is equally fascinating, as fascinating as the external world. So this is our beginning exploration. When I did a pain study I was a participant in a pain study at LSU Med Center. They gave me a whole list of things to describe
words to describe
your
pain.
pain.
Yeah.
You know, and the damn list has got like 30 different ways that you could describe it as numbness or stabbing or hot or crunching. And, you know, I've just been calling it pain in my hip, and begin to get all these little nuances. So as we begin to enter into this inner world, we will cultivate that kind of nuance, which is what she's doing. Next week, I will bring you a thing of how to experience energy in your body, which is still into the vibrations, heat and cools. There's a lot of overlap. So these are all things that just like as you're beginning to explore nature and you begin to notice the different colors or maybe the different birds, now we're fine tuning our awareness of our internal world without losing the thing that's anchoring us in witness consciousness. So, questions or comments?
And yoga can guide us to that. So if you're a yoga practitioner, in body sensations.
Exactly.
Body awareness.
And that's why when you first come to yoga and they say find your edge, and you go, I don't get it.
And then you do.
And then you do. Questions, comments? Anybody get a moose with a child you didn't know you have in its antlers this week? God,
Well,
I can't wait for the mail now. I mean, that's raised my level of excitement.
Whee! You never know.
I regularly get that sitting still and just breathing allows my mind to open up and find answers to questions or resolutions that just pop in. And I can just go, oh, look, there it was. Things that could have
Yes,
me up for nights, if I actually just sit and do the practice, the answer comes. And I forget that all the time. I
exactly.
fight with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in the promises of AA, it says we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. And this is exactly what it means. Whether you think of as inviting God's presence in, which I was going to talk on today and didn't. But yeah, when you let the conditioned mind go, then the wisdom, thank you for bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the paradox, Cherry, is that if you go into it expecting that,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay, so keep being surprised by it, if
Stay
that
open.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The moose may come, might not. Drew's already gone. Oh God, he's fixated for
Looking for the moose.
anybody else. What you got today? It's amazing.
Well, I definitely felt the flow of going from one sensation to another, one body part to another. Um, an itch on my skin, to some um, maybe in my groin, and then my Reiki turned on in my hands, and then something else would happen, and it was just this constant movement, and that's an awareness I never had. That
Great.
all those things were going on that I was ignoring.
You know, that's so great. So true, Drew. I mean, a lot of people could sit here and just get bored with just sitting for 20 minutes in a meditation and being present.
In my
But the experience can be rich if you can tune into it. And that, then that guides us to real life experiences.
Mhm.
But yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, and for those of you again, just learning the teachings, when we sit and say, nothing lasts, one of the things you will learn and begin to see directly is that our fear is that whatever's happening right now is going to happen forever. And what Drew just experienced is my sensations are constantly changing. They're not staying the same. My body's not the same moment to moment, nor is my mind, nor my emotions. And that's what we mean by impermanence. He's seeing the impermanence of sensation. It's here, then it's not here. This thought's here, then it's not here. This feeling is here, then it's not here. So I don't have to try and change these things.
Anything.
Just
push it away.
Push it
Nothing.
away,
No.
improve on it. Because by the time, as a matter of fact, that if you want to keep it around, try to improve it or get it to go away. If you just sit and watch it. So that's the skill that we want to learn is just sit, watch, let it disappear.
Well, I love the way she called it the river of sensation
River.
because there
Yeah,
it is.
I love
It's
that.
just constantly flowing, was your word, moving, changing, and it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. It's a river of sensation. I'm going to have to steal that from her.
Yeah, steal from the best. That's what they told us in seminary. You're never going to have an original thought. Steal from the best. Anybody else?
Hey.
Okay.
Robert,
Um, it was a
all right.
real relief to not try to fix it or change it and just be present with it, and to hear the science behind it was also really helpful. Um, uh, and then to experience it, and just be with it. I did feel like a de-escalation because for me, like, just like these Venetian blinds can set me off, and just being with it, just being, uh, or like my computer, all of the different little things
Yeah.
can, depending on where I am, they can set me into a spiral. And just being present to the experience and the sensation of it, and not trying to change it or control it, it really did de escalate. Just choo. Uh, and getting into the body sensorially, like each of the pain, the cramping, the tightness, and it's just going, that's what it is. But then space naturally started to come, and then my breath slowly started to drop a little, but it wasn't me forcing a deep breath. Just slowly, muscles in my lower abdomen started to release, and suddenly the breath was able to go low into my gut. But it wasn't me making that happen. It just,
Oh,
loaded, just opened.
yeah.
So,
Great.
And great that you pointed out, you can also be aware of sensations in the mind. The computer, the worry, this meditation was about, it works in a similar way, perhaps, when off on a story on that hip or whatever that pain was, and there's your awareness of the mind.
Yeah, kicking in.
Yeah.
That's a very Stephen Levine thing. Now, just a quick question to establish a little bit of sense of community here. How many of you suffer from uh, extreme sensitivity to sensation to the point that you shut down uh, when it gets too intense? Okay, so we got, okay, so we got some,
Few.
okay. So again, this is a wonderful meditation. And friendly to asshole. Uh, in about 5 minutes online with a customer service
Customer
rep.
service representative. It's like, don't touch me. Get away from
You get
me.
away from me. Yeah. So, yeah, so learning to create this kind of space around the sensations when it's all just such a state of overwhelm and shut down, not able to process, is an absolute essential skill to have. Breathe space into it. Let it soften, let it soften, let it go. Because that initial instinct when we were kids, all we had was and not realizing that that was going to trap all that in the body. So a lot of us feel ashamed for being that way. It's only taken me 77 years to be able to say, please don't touch
Step
me. Right? Yeah,
away
just do it
from
for me.
me.
Or things are about.
There is a
Anybody?
lot of shame in this country about stop being so sensitive or you're too sensitive. There's, I mean, that
Right.
well,
And
That's a good one.
yeah.
we were we were meant to live in monasteries. There is a place for us in traditional cultures. There's no place for us to thrive in this culture. Hopefully, we're building some of them. My first clue to that was a book of poems by a former Episcopalian priest named James Kavanaugh, and the title was "There Are Men Too Gentle to Live Among Wolves."
Well,
And I knew immediately that he understood.
yeah. And also is I'm learning that to reframe things that I am not the feeling
Well,
sensation. I am feeling the feeling or the sensation.
You know, probably men in particular that are put down.
Shane, oh,
Sensitive.
yeah, crybaby,
Sensitive.
go home to your mommy.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Um, course, circular, relatively small space, and you will find pads, knee pads on the floor. No seats, just knee pads. And you will go in here for 15 minutes each day to meditate. And I'll never forget wondering, wait a minute, isn't there more? What steps might we take? And we were never, in my memory, told any steps or given any direction. It was just like, you go in here for 15. There's a knee pad, you can kneel upon it, but that was recommended. And then you may be free to go
And uh, some of you study with Father Candy. I can't see who else is out there. Uh, but he walks in doing his fake Roshi voice and he goes, "There will be no intense introspection."
Trouble. Yeah.
So that is a technique that's used, Robert, is what I'm saying. And uh, so I'm a fan of we need some training wheels and a
Yeah.
little more than that. It goes back to an old story. A guy comes and says, "So, uh, what's the secret to enlightenment? Awareness." Well, that's kind of skimpy. I'm a newcomer. Could you give me a little more? How do I get enlightenment? Awareness. It's got to be more. Can you give me more? Awareness. Awareness, awareness, awareness. It's the right answer. It's just to the Western mind, not helpful. So use the tools you're getting, Robert, and don't feel like you're doing it wrong.
Right.
that's
It's not good or bad. It's just one way.
It's just one way to
It's just
teach.
one way.
Yep. And for some people it works, and for other people it doesn't, and that's fine. That's why there are more than one school of teaching.
and it may work in the long run as opposed to the short term. It may get more and more effective as you
Right.
live and experience things.
Absolutely. So, like we say, if the tool doesn't work for you initially, keep it in your bag. You may find a use for it later. So, a more advanced meditator might be irritated by someone constantly giving them instructions and find it intrusive, although they wouldn't find it intrusive, but unnecessary. Unnecessary. Galen, are you going to talk or
Cut in, maybe.
Corinne? They're people poised. No,
No, Corinne? Got anything? No? Okay.
Thank you for it. As soon as my camera popped on, I just felt this flood of maybe this will tie into next week with the energy, but I just felt this flood of light, and I associate it when someone's praying for me or they're sending me prayer. But and I haven't felt this in a long, and I've kind of been bereft of this sensation, and something happened where maybe it's just my heart opened, but I just felt this flood of warmth or love. I don't know what to name it. And so I'm grateful for anybody who might have sent me something. I don't know where it came from. It might have just been showing up, but thank you.
looking at the picture where it came from, dear.
Yeah.
Okay, Bart, I'm ready to
That's
talk.
okay.
The word that comes to mind with this discussion, that equifeminine.
Okay.
So it's stuck in terms of letting that flow, then that has always been for me, to just, that word is so opening to so many different ways to reach where you're going. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to make my students go and drive how they got to Grambling, that they had to take different routes, that there were so many different ways going down that road to get to Grambling. And then for that you can apply that to every aspect of your life, that there's make you take another journey, different route.
Yeah. And I think that's extremely applicable as we approach this stage in our lives, those of us who are at retirement age, is that it's a second adolescence and opportunity to reinvent ourselves and to begin to take those roads not taken uh, uh, in our lives that we've abandoned and start to explore them again.
Yeah.
And see where they go. Ask Linnell how many times I say, I want to go see where this road goes.
Yeah.
And we'll go off into places. She
Right.
says,
Right.
don't ever bring me here again.
Right. You may get lost, but you just turn around and get back on the journey.
Yeah.
Scary places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
So good.
Well, it's about that time. Anybody got a burning urge?
Pam? No?
Well,
Oh.
this has been good. And
Yeah.
again, Rachel's talking about the power of song of connection. Okay. And it ties with what you're saying because we're all interconnected. That's why you can get there so many different ways. There's no right or wrong way because it's all going nowhere. It just is what it is. Begin to experience that connection and actually feel the power that's represented by these faces here. Look at the web that we've created across the United States of interconnection at this time, at this place, with an energy that's synchronized. Do you understand the power of what we create? That's available to tap into during your week. We don't disappear. Our energies, our care for each other doesn't disappear. And so I like to think of it as a placenta and that we all have a little umbilical cord into it. And through that, we can tap into each other, draw strength, draw inspiration, draw courage.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then you think about the networks that each that are empowering to us and go on and on and on. Okay. And that's what Paul called the body of Christ. Okay.
Mhm.
This image that we're all tied in, part of that cosmic Christ, that cosmic redemption. So it's good. It's great work, and it's fun. It's so exciting to begin to explore spirit, this energy, this thing that connects us, heals us, inspires us, animates us. Yeah, Tommy,
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready to own.
he's ready to own. All right, let's go. On three. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hey.
He's ready.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See y'all on the streets.
Oh,
Thank
Corinne,
you.
Yeah.
are y'all going to come tonight?
No, she said they have something
Okay.
else to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Talbot,
Thanks for
Yes, I
coming.
very much enjoyed it.
buddy.
Very much connected
Good.
to all of you. And that's a good
Okay.
feeling.
Well, thank you.
Yay.
Just want you to know that Jason Cofield and Lane harmonica player at 6.
Yeah.